Добрий день, я вітаю.
Good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining us. Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform continues its operation, and we're in today 243 of a fight for freedom, and we'll talk about the situation in the Donetsk region, and we're having Pavlo Kyrylenko, the military governor of the Donetsk region, with us. We know that you're limited in terms of time, so in brief about the key points. Talking about Bakhmut, the situation is the hottest in that region. We're getting news about our troops having moved the enemy about 2 kilometers from Bakhmut. Is there still civil population in the city? Well, the situation in Bakhmut and in Bakhmut direction is still pretty tense. However, all the enemy's attempts to occupy the city and to break through the defense of our defenders fail, and the enemy withdraws on a daily basis, suffering severe losses of personnel and material. As to the civil population, about a little bit more than 15,000 people remain in the city for this fall and winter season. The military administration takes all the necessary attempts to evacuate and relocate the civil population from Bakhmut to save their lives and health. And besides, we have additional steps taken as to the preparation to the winter season. We deployed additional heating points, heating stations. We installed new stoves for heating, and the heating equipment disseminated among the people, so the people can stay in these safe shelters, heated, and they can get some food there. There is no water supply and there is no power supply in the city, and I cannot tell you already the number of the times that the power supply and water supply were reestablished in the city and then broken down again. So the enemy takes all the actions to destroy the infrastructure. What's the situation with the critical infrastructure in Kramatorsk and Slavyansk? The critical infrastructure keeps operating. The reserve power sources were connected to maintain the operation of power supply. The more complicated situation is with the water supply. So as we know, the power supply in the region is pretty much the same as throughout the whole country. We have the schedules of rolling power shutdowns, so that we can avoid the maximum load on the power supply system during the peak periods. Mr. Pavlo, what's the situation with the occupied Liman and Svyatogirsk? What's the humanitarian situation there? We've heard the presidential address yesterday, and he mentions that the critical infrastructure is being rebuilt there. And what's known about this, and what's known about the war crimes committed by the Russians in that region? The government administration already reestablished its operation in the occupied Liman and Svyatogirsk. The community of Liman includes about 40 small villages, and the humanitarian situation is being stabilized there. About 96% of the population received the food supplies and water supplies. And in Svyatogirsk community as well, the situation is being stabilized. The the hygienic sets and the food supplies are being disseminated among the people. The International Organization of Migration completes its mission in the region, and however, we still have people there who refuse to leave the area no matter the conditions. And for those people, we deploy the heating stations where they can get heated during winter period, where can they get hot food, some hot drinks. However, the enemy attempts still to shell the area on a daily basis. We pay our most attention to maintaining the normal operation of the civil infrastructure for those who refuse to leave the area, to provide them with the warm clothes for both adults and the kids. The ATMs of state-controlled banks resumed their operation in both Svyatogirsk and Liman communities. The dissemination of the food products is taking place in the designated areas, as well as the dissemination of humanitarian sets, hygienic sets. Now, this centralized system of government aid is systematized, and we take all the reasonable actions to bring the construction materials in the area, for reconstruct the infrastructure objects to get them rebuilt in the soonest manner possible. Mr. Pavlo, we know that our investigators were working in the region on exhumation. What are the news in this regard? Yes, the exhumation is still in progress. I keep visiting the sites, I keep visiting the area to control the process. We have discovered mass burial sites of both military and civil people. Now the investigators are working under all the criminal proceedings, and the investigations are still in process with a careful examination and facts of identification of torture sites and burial sites, and to identify the causes of death of both military and civil people. How many bodies are exhumated for the time being? Now there are two principal burial sites. 131 person is exhumated, and the number is still growing because there are mass burial sites, and we also identify some individual burial sites, for example, in the yards of private houses, and the work is still in progress. We have one question, please. As the areas of Kharkiv region were liberated, we recorded the cases of collaboration of the clerisy with the occupants. Do you know of any cases alike in the Donetsk region? Thank you for the question. The first step to be taken in Svyatogirsk and Liman after liberation were taken by the security service in Ukraine, and under their investigations and criminal proceedings on collaboration, there were facts of collaboration among the clerisy identified, and now all the prosecutors professional actions are being taken in this regards as to the confirmed facts of collaboration among clearly. Mr. Pavlov, thank you very much for finding time to join us. Dear colleagues, I will remind you we had Pavlo Kyrylenko, the military governor of the Donetsk region. Our next briefing is at 14:30. We will talk to Andriy Klimenko, the head of monitoring group of the Institute for Black Sea, and we'll talk about the situation